Hi everyone, I'm Karl Malakunas. I'm the director of Delikado, an Enviro thriller documentary that's currently on POV on the POV website, and we're here to talk about it. I'm going to bring in Bobby Chan, the hero and one of the heroes of the film. So we're going to have a chat with him and find out what life is like, has been like for Bobby and the team in Palawan since the making of the film. So let me try and invite Bobby. Just give me 1 second. Okay, I'm just inviting Bobby now. He is in Manila at the moment. I'm based in Hong Kong. So it's Friday morning over in our part of the world. So good morning to you all. Thanks very much for joining and for your interest. Okay, so the invite has gone out to Bobby. Let's see whether he picks it up. Okay. We're not getting that pick up. Bobby and I, we confess, are not great Instagram livers. We have been doing a few practices over the past couple of days, but we will get there. Just hang on a sec. I might just cancel that invitation and send it to him again. Okay, I'll just do that one more time. So while we're waiting for Bobby, we can just say how what a privilege and an honour it's been to show the film in. Oh, here we go. I think we've got him. Here he is.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Hi, Karl.
G'day, Bobby. Okay, this is Bobby Chan. Hopefully, for people who have joined, they will know who Bobby is. Bobby is the executive director of the Palawan NGO Network Inc. An environmental lawyer, and an incredible leader of people who are out there trying to save the forests and corals and environment of the last frontier in Palawan. Bobby, perhaps you can just say hi to everyone, and yeah, just do a bit more of an introduction to yourself, and maybe talk you can explain a little bit about what's happened to the film since people have watched it. And, the end of the filming was in 2019, and you can take people through what's happened since.
Wow. Well, thank you, Karl, and good morning to everyone. I don't know about the introduction of being a leader because in Palawan, our NGO is made up of pretty much equal billing of people. Everybody treats everybody else as family. So when I'm just the executive director of the network of NGOs, but in reality, if you're in Palawan, everybody is equal. In fact, I'm even more of the lower type servant because everybody gives me all the cases to handle. So I'm actually at their service. But good morning to you, Karl. Hey, you look great. I kind of miss us playing that backyard game of tennis when we were in Palawan in the few moments that we had time to rest and get our bearings. But yeah, since the film, God, who knew it was that long already? But when I'm watching it, it's like I'm back into the old office, and everybody else is trying to get that elusive chainsaw that would make the film really worthwhile. But we're now after the film. The biggest change, Karl, is that we're now back into becoming para enforcers and environmental lawyers, because when the film came out, it's like we were celebrities. Everybody wanted a piece of our time, and we had so much interviews and so much uh, invitations for speaking engagements. But now we're just beginning to return back to becoming para enforcers and environmental lawyers, which is a welcome change.
For people maybe who haven't watched the film yet, or even if they have, do you want to just explain, I think that one of the most compelling things of what your team does, of course, are these para-enforcement operations, going in and using the citizen's arrest law to confiscate equipment. Just give maybe a brief summary of that and why that's so important in Palawan.
Yes, for people who haven't watched the film and why it's so compelling, because you will see a glimpse of what is needed in the Philippines, in a third world country, where all the basic services that are in place in a first world country is not in a third world country. And the basic service of protecting our environment, whether it's the forests, the corals, the mangroves, our resources, are not in place, because ideally this is the job that government should be doing. But when the government is not doing it, we should not, as responsible citizens, stand idly by and watch those resources being destroyed by the loggers or the illegal fishermen or by the miners. So we, as a civic group, as an NGO, as members of civil society, decided to band together and engage into a enforcement program, wherein if government will not catch the loggers, we will catch the loggers. And if government will not catch the illegal fishermen, we will catch the illegal fishermen. And if government will not stop the mining, we will stop the mining. So this film is a sneak preview of what we have done as civil society or ordinary citizens, wherein we devised a program that will do just that, stop the violation by catching the loggers, the illegal fishermen, and stopping the mining. So.
And it's incredibly dangerous operation. Just para enforcement going out into the forest themselves, so the immediate dangers of confronting potentially armed loggers. But for yourself, all people end up to potentially the Philippines. Maybe explain that culture of impunity that makes it so to challenge authority in the Philippines.
Yes, and that was it's also in the film where along the way we run this program for 10 years. So along the way we lost several of our friends, and while you were filming it, I knew, because when we were filming it for a 5-year spread, I knew somewhere along the way we're going to lose one while you're filming it, and that's exactly what happened. We lost two, actually, Toto Vigilia and Cap Arsaga. So that, but we're better at it now. We have a whole program on threat management, but this is exactly what we have been talking about with the culture of impunity now in the Philippines. It's because nobody wants to do an active service, because they know their efforts will not get them anywhere. There's this general feeling of hopelessness that and passiveness, that anything that you do will not get you anywhere, and in fact, if it will get you into trouble. So apart from the fact that your good deeds will not end up in good results, once you carry out a good deed, it will also get you into trouble because the politicians and the big businessmen will make sure that you're harassed or you're prevented from encroaching on their business or on their operations. So apart from the culture of impunity, you also have the culture of harassment and oppression and silencing of free expression and direct action to do good deeds. Terrible combination, Karl. But as I said, this film is an example where a small group of individuals can get together and make small changes, and hopefully we can replicate this, and people are all around in different provinces of our country can see that if we can do it in our small way, they can replicate it in their provinces as well.
And the film sort of ends with you're losing your chainsaws, you being declared persona non grata, Nieves losing the election against the establishment candidate. And one of the questions that everyone asks, after the film is, what has happened to everyone, and where are people now? Have they given up? Have they lost? Tell us.
Yes. Yeah. It looks like in a superficial way, if you look at it, I'm not in Palawan because I've been declared persona non grata. Tata is retired because he wanted to go into farming, and Nieves lost the elections for mayor. But on a deeper level, you'll find out that Nieves won the provincial board membership, so she may not be mayor now, but she's now a provincial board councillor or legislator, one step to becoming governor, which is in the film. Sorry, I think I made a spoiler on her plans. But you see, it's a small spoiler because there are many things that will be revealed in the film, and I think it's going to shock audiences because the small spoilers really don't make up for the view of what it is to go into old growth forest. And Tata is into farming. Is a well-deserved retirement plan. I'm in Manila, but I'm running the affairs of the network through Zoom. But what I want to emphasize is, although there's a really big setback on all three of us, the beauty of what the film captured, the beauty of it is it captured the program. It's not about persons. It's not about personalities. It's about the program that we instituted. It's now a program. It's a system such that even if the big personalities, the popular personalities are gone or take a back seat, because it is now an institutionalized system, it is now an institutionalized program in Palawan, it can run without the popular leaders. And it's now running because last week my men were able to, last month, we were able to get another chainsaw out of the forest. And that's a big thing, Karl. There's viewers kind of think that, oh, you get one chainsaw, what will that do? But if you look at this, another spoiler alert in the film, Tata said that he was cutting. He's an ex-logger, by the way. He was cutting 60 trees a day when he was logging in Palawan. So if we get one chainsaw out of our forests, that's saving 60 trees a day. Ba? I don't know about 60 trees a day because in Palawan, the trees are huge. I mean, you've been there. I think maybe 20 big trees a day are felled. So if we take out one chainsaw from our forest, we're saving around 20 big forest trees a day. And that's That's a big amount of uh, 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 reprieve against climate change. I would think so. We're still glad that the program is working, even if I'm taking a back seat in Manila and running the affairs from Manila. And we're also glad that Nieves, although not mayor, is now on a bigger field, province level, and that Tate is having a well-deserved retirement because he did so much good by helping us setting up the program of these para enforcers in Palawan. So, yeah, I'm hopeful.
That's wonderful to go to the PNNI's Facebook page and see photos of the team's recent confiscations. There's been a number of chainsaws pulled over recent months, and for me, I still see those. I'm just so overwhelmed with or how strong these are. These walking in like hours, sometimes days to find these loggers, and just the courage that they have to tell loggers and take the chainsaws, knowing potential repercussions. Yeah, I think it's really great for not one, but they want to do something to protect their environment. Look at what these community members in Palawan are doing to help protect their own environments, and I think that's one of the strongest messages of the film for me. Yeah, and Neves, just continue. She has that she won that board position at the last elections in May of this year, and she's working with the board to set up a People's Consultative Council where they have NGOs and community groups trying to hold government officials to account across the province at villages level. So Nieves is still working incredibly bravely and effectively to protect the environment. And people would watch the film and perhaps think, because this is what we just focused on, that the PNNI only does confiscations of equipment, but PNNI does a lot more, and workers and lawyer extends well beyond that. Do you make a brief summary of what PNNI also does?
Yes. Well, as I said, our network has 5 major programs, and the enforcement program is just one of them. The major program of the Palawan NGO network is an advocacy program. It's a program that is designed to monitor big projects from outside entering the province, because the province is what we call the last ecological frontier of the Philippines. It houses the last remaining big forest corridor of old growth forests in our country. It also houses the last remaining 5% coral areas that are in excellent condition, and 30 I think 50% also of the best mangrove areas in the country. So that's why it's called the last frontier. And when big projects come in, the idea of it being pristine and not to be developed is diminished. So we banded together, all NGOs banded together to become a network of NGOs. And then every time projects come in, big projects, we monitor those projects, whether they will be allowed to operate in Palawan, which is the last frontier, because they have to go into a really rigid standard so that their operations will not harm our remaining forest and our remaining corals and mangroves. So that's the idea of the advocacy program, to monitor big projects to make sure that they are compliant and they won't destroy our resources. So samples of our advocacy program is we came up with a policy that we are no to mining. So any mining projects that come into the province, we contest it. The other program is that we are for a total commercial logging ban. So any logging projects that come into the province, we oppose it. We are also for a live fish ban. So any live fish program where people catch live reef fish, because usually they're caught by using cyanide or poison. So we're against that. So these are things that we do in an advocacy program wherein we contest big projects like logging, illegal commercial live fish fishing, and mining. Those three big programs were opposing it. That's in our advocacy program. We also have a sustainable social enterprise program wherein we do livelihood so that we can sustain ourselves and our communities. These are the biggest livelihood program is our micro enterprise. So we grant small loans to the poorest of the poor, sometimes with no interest at all. I don't know how that survives. You'll have to ask our livelihood social enterprise personnel who's handling. But so far, she's doing a good job, Blanche and Lori. Then we have a membership program that caters to the membership. We also have a youth program that is developing the next generation of NGO leaders. So did I get 5? Enforcement, advocacy, youth, membership, and what's the 5th program? Social enterprise. So yeah, I think those are the 5 major programs. But of course, the most exciting one and the newest, because it's just everything is a 2-decade-old program. Enforcement is just a 10-year program. So the newest is the enforcement program. So where we just got tired of sitting idly by and watching our resources go to waste or is being destroyed. I said maybe we should stop trying to talk about things in a policy level or in a committee level or in a council level and go out into the forest and start catching the chainsaws and go patrolling into our high seas and catching the dynamite fishing boats. So that's what we did. It's a new, exciting program.
So, just going back, you remind me of when we first met back in 2011. I was a journalist, and just to tell the viewers, I was a journalist based in Manila, and I went down to investigate the murder of another environmental campaigner. I was going down to meet other people who knew him and other people who were looking to protect the environment. I had no idea about how dangerous it was and how big this culture of impunity and fear was. It really is, putting your lives on the line just not just to go into the forest, but voice opposition in some respects. And this guy standing in the street with a tree at that point only a bit taller than himself, made of chainsaws, and it had "Stop Illegal Logging" on it. And there you were. And what's all that about, Bobby? And you just told me that story then, and that's how the film really got going, wasn't it?
Yeah, I still remember that day because I didn't think you would you of all people would bite that bait, because the the call for help was actually made to inspire or to attract Filipinos to help us. And ironically, the one who responded was a foreigner. So thank you for that, Karl. No, I couldn't forget that, because when we set up that tree, it was to make a statement that, hey, help us. It was a call for fellow Filipinos to help us, support us, so that we can go into the forest and catch these chainsaws, and if you go to our backyard, help us catch the dynamite fishing boats or the cyanide fishing boats. But no, unfortunately, nobody responded except you when you were passing by and you said, "Hey, what's with the chainsaws?" And I said, "No, we're catching chainsaws in the forest." And you decided to make it into an article, and then eventually you decided to make it into a short YouTube documentary, and now you decided to make it into a film, which is the film today. So even to this day, Karl, I cannot. It's a mystery to me how my fellow countrymen would not go into the idea of turning something like this into an article, a short documentary, and a final film, international. I don't know why it had to take someone from Australia, although we're both Asians, to see the beauty into something like this and turn it into something that will raise awareness. And sometimes I think it's unfortunate with Filipinos helping other Filipinos, or trying to raise awareness by ourselves, and it takes someone from the outside to come in and have a different perspective to raise awareness. And for that, thank you, Karl. And yeah, that was too bad we I'm going to make a spoiler alert. I think I better shut up before they stop watching the film, because they find out that something happened to that tree already.
Yeah. Well, just a quick follow-up, but I mean, it almost wasn't a decision to make. When I met you, it just compelled, to learn more and understand more, and the more I got to know you, and then Tata, and Gilbert and Cap, and Junior, and just being with them was, it was just incredible, and to witness their acts, courage. It was. I was just compelled to keep following that, and then again, when we met Nieves at Cap's funeral, making such a strong, powerful community, and then to understand the threats that she was under and her determination. It was just, it's like, I would have given up there. No, I would have walked away. No, that would have been far too hard for me. And to see how all of you won. Bobby, one of the powerful moments, when you're talking to the Indigenous community, to the Tagbanua, people who are, trying to learn more about land rights, and and one of your other arms of what you do is to raise awareness. Could you explain to people the unique threats that the Indigenous communities in Palawan face?
Yes. Well, you might think, for all those who are going to watch it, you might think that it's a film about illegal logging and illegal fishing, and about natural resources, the trees, the corals, the mangroves. But it's also about land rights. And one of the biggest issues that you see in the film is the issue of land grabbing, wherein politicians and big business infringe on the rights of communities, especially tribal people, on their land rights. That's one of the biggest issues in the film. And the frightening situation about it is that the land grabbing has now taken a turn from being illegal land grabbing to a more smoothly, seemingly legalized way of grabbing land. Before it was just okay, we'll take it because because we want it, and we'll just occupy and push you guys out. That was what happened before. Now it's a more legalized system. It's a more palatable thing that can be accepted, and it has the seemingly environment of being legal. And what is legal land grabbing? Illegal land grabbing is like making plantations that encroach in the forests of tribal people. It has a semblance of legality. But if you look at the bigger picture, it's just corporations, politicians, and big business taking over the lands of poor people. So there are a lot of schemes like that going around now in Palawan, where moves to take over lands of fishermen, lands of farmers, lands of tribal people are done seemingly in a legal way. And plantations are one of them. Mining is another way of land grabbing for us. It has the semblance of legality because the big business or corporations will come in, apply for a mining right, and the area is right inside the tribal ancestral domain of the Tagbanwa or the Palawans, and the politicians will grant the permits, and eventually the mining will take over the area occupied, which is supposed to be tribal land, and it's perfectly legal. So you have the plantations, you have the mining, you have the logging concessions, and you have the tree farm plantations, especially rubber, palm oil, and even agriculture. So right now, we have to question this move of government to try to allocate 10,000 hectares per municipality to reforestation projects. Because, Karl, even the reforestation projects in our province, you have to check them individually because you don't want them, the politicians and the big businessmen, to use it as a way of legal logging. So there might be forests that are still forests, patches of forest, but when you want a 10,000 hectares is really big. And there's no way you can have an adjacent continuous area in Palawan of 10,000 hectares that does not have patches of forest in them. So if you look at that scheme, it might be another scheme to reforest an area and plant fruit trees or tropical fruits, because we already found out there were areas that were planted with tropical fruits as a plantation in the guise of destroying forests and occupying those forest areas by those who planted it with tropical fruits. So these are the things that we have to watch out now. The seemingly legal land grabbing schemes. So, and this is what was instigated by the film, because you have a tribal person saying, "Hey, they're grabbing our lands." Oops, I spoiled it again.
and Bobby, I think just following on from that, when we speak, we speak, probably once a week. But you're always saying to me, I'm so busy with legal work, and the legal case filing. Just give an idea of what you do as an environmental lawyer to take on all these issues that you've just been talking about.
Yeah, wow. Just by saying you just asking that question makes me tired already. Because when my men catch chainsaws, that it doesn't end there. You have to file it in the administrative courts or in the regular courts, and then you have to litigate that. So since we finished our film, I think we had an additional, say, an additional 50 chainsaws that we caught, and we had to file that, and we have to litigate that because everybody who lost their chainsaw wants to get it back. So it's tiring work also for a lawyer to litigate after that. So my men are happy they caught the chainsaw, but their work is done. But after that, that's where my work starts, to make sure that those chainsaws stay confiscated and will never be used in our forests again. And that's just the forestry matters. When you go to the illegal fishing matters, you get another 2 dozen dynamite or cyanide fishing boats. And then you get the commercial fishing nets that drag and break our corals. And that's just the fishery scenery. Then you also have the mining scene, which, as I said, we have 4 active mines. And now there's a direction to open new mine sites so that we can generate jobs, which is a wrong policy when it comes to Palawan. We're already the last frontier, and you still want to drill holes in both our land and sea. Can you imagine that, Karl? Let me just say that again. They want to drill holes in both our land and sea, because right now the government is looking to drill another natural gas offshore, and this is the same with the Malampaya gas pipeline, natural gas drilling station in the middle of the ocean. So they want another one like that so that they can generate money for our ailing economy. So that's just 3 big areas that where legal work has to be done: the forestry, the fishery, and the mining. To add to that, you have the land grabbing cases, and these are the biggest loads that really pull us down, because it's not just the big ones, the big land grabbing cases. You'll be surprised that even the small ones, the 5-hectare Palawan tribe whose 5-hectare land was taken over by a communications tower so that we can have communications all over the province, that still goes to my office. So, and we cannot just dismiss the rights of 1 or 2 families because we have to put our efforts on the rights of a big tribal community. No, you have to entertain all of them, whether it's the right of one small tribal person to his tribal land consisting of 5 hectares where they built a smart or globe tower or any communication towers on that land. We have to fight for his rights, no matter how individual or familial or a family base it is, along with the fighting for the rights of occupation for a tribal community consisting of 500 families. So we entertain all of that because you can't discard the rights of people, whether they are communal or individual. So it's a big spread to run it when I'm the only lawyer in the in the office. So tiring. When you gave me that question, I suddenly felt tired. It's all your fault.
Yeah, and again, for me, this is what compelled me to keep filming. I was honestly the best part of my film was having this conversation with you and learning and understanding the issues and then seeing the actions that you and the community members that you work with take to continue to fight. And part of that for me was your adherence to the rule of law, and the adherence to for everyone involved. When some of the most powerful people, interests in the community sort of abuse the law, and with Nieves placed on the drug list by the president to eliminate her as a political threat, her determination to continue to work within the system to try and make it better. I just found, really, really, compelling, and it was, and I don't know whether people can really understand just how dangerous it is and how brutal sort of politics and the economy can be in the Philippines. There was a journalist just murdered in the streets of Manila, in recent weeks. When we made the film, 2019 was declared, Philippines was declared the most dangerous country in the world to be a land offender, the deadliest country by numbers, and yet, the work that you and the others do is always committed to the law. And it's like, well, hang on, you're the guys ones who are being victimized by the abuse of the law, and yet you're the ones who are still committed to it. I'm not sure what there's a question there other than but
no, I get it, Karl. That and it's very important for you to raise that question. We have to appraise people that we are a country governed by the rule of law, because otherwise it would be a chaotic experience where everybody where we would have this guns, goons, and gold revert back to the medieval ages, where he who has the guns and the golds rules the country. So we have to bring that back, no matter how leveled it is, or no matter how distorted it is in favor of that concept against the rule of law. We have to keep on bringing it back. But the success of trying to bring back people into the belief into the belief of being a country which espouses the rule of law is primarily because historically our culture is a religious culture, which has remained untapped, Karl, in the Philippines. We need a bigger culture that will bring us back to the culture of being into a rule, bring us back into espousing the rule of law, and that is the rule of our faith. The Philippines is a largely Christian and religious country. If we can just tap into the resource of us being a religious people to bring ourselves back and pull ourselves back into upholding the rule of law, I think we'll be in good shape. And I think that answers the question why, apart from all the threats and all the killings and all the physical injuries we suffered, we're still at it. And even for me, that is a mystery, because when I try to summarize all of it, I think it is our belief in God, the Father, Jesus Christ, His Son, and the Holy Spirit. That's why every time, if you see my men, even if in Tata, if you saw him go up on stage, he made the sign of the cross. Magical, no? Something I wish I could have done before I went up on stage. But he beat me to it, and that is a summary of how we have transcended from being people of the law to people of faith. And that, I think, is what keeps us going. Our belief in God and the divine, to try to push us and give us strength, give us passion to keep on fighting for the resources or his creation. And even though we lost many, Karl, uh, we get depressed for a while when we remember them. But there's always this next day attitude that suddenly, like maybe you're touched by the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit in you says, "Hey, wake up! You have to now respond to this report that the community called, and a chainsaw has entered their forest. Hey, knock it off! Pull yourself together, and you have to respond to this tribal person, where a rich foreigner came into his area and fenced his coconut tribal land and occupied it for himself. And he can't even harvest his coconuts. You have to respond to all this. And you momentarily forget your dead friends to respond to the rights of people who are alive. And that, for me, is a mystery. But it also brings us back that every time we celebrate the death of Cap, the death of Nestor, the death of Tindi Salamat, the death of Dado Crael, when we celebrate their deaths, we become strengthened or emboldened to keep on doing this work in honor of those who have fallen in trying to push this program of ours. So it supports itself in circles. And you said, I don't know if there's a question in there. I don't know if I had the answers squarely on it, but it was nice. It's nice to remember our dead, and why we have to keep on doing this kind of work.
I think you've got into the heart and soul of the film, and you know, what you've just outlined there for me is just incredibly inspirational, and again has driven not just myself, but we've had a huge, amazing team who have come together to make this film. And I know everyone has put in so much extra time and effort beyond what they were expected to do. And it's because they were, you know, that they've been touched by what you've done, what everyone has done there in Palawan. And I think you just expressed exactly why people have fought for you, have come together and fought for you to make this film, Bobby. Hey, I think we're almost running out of time. I think it'd also be good just to talk about what we're also trying to achieve. With the film beyond just raising the awareness. I'll put in explain that for Delikado, for the film, where we're trying to build an impact campaign to help defend the land defenders, particularly in Palawan for PNNI and everyone in Palawan, in the Philippines and beyond. The battles that have been fought by you are the same battles being fought across the Philippines and across the world. Everyone who's on the front lines of climate change, putting their lives on the line, trying to protect the resources that are becoming ever more scarce. So if people are interested to learn more, they can go to delikadofilm.com. We've got a Take Action page where people can sign up. And one of our most immediate calls to action is to support PNNI, to support your work. Bobby, would you like to just explain, how people could support PNNI?
Oh, okay. I think you know this more than I. I'm not a tech person, and I in the years of trying to promote our network, we did not really we did it ambivalently, and All I know is that if you want to support us, you have to go to www.pnni.org. Did I get that right, Karl? Please support us. We're a providential kind of group. When I say providence, we rely on the providence of God to provide us with whatever we need. If funds come, we will operate. If they don't, then maybe we will just advocate and keep on monitoring the big projects. But please try to support us. And I think you can. There's a donate to PNNI button in that website. And sorry, did I miss out on anything, Carly? Can you?
Yeah. As a very humble man, it's probably you can talk eloquently about all the issues, and then when it comes to, to supporting, and basically, maybe I can explain that financially. It's it's a day-to-day operation. Funds, small funds will go out on a broad level, longer term sustainable funding from so they can reach out via PNNI.org, they can reach out to Delikado, Delikado.com, they can go to Facebook, but we do everything to help. So I think that's one of our important calls. So I think we've got to finish up shortly. I'd just like to obviously thank POV, ITVS, who came on as supporters. They've given us this amazing opportunity to share your story across America. Thank on to make today we had the Center for American Media. We had watched documentary Australia. And an example coming to you by your story.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, we'll finish it up now. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, Karl. Good to see you again.
I always love talking to you, Bobby. This is the best bit. See you, mate.
Good day.